A massive injury update for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about Patirick Williams and his recent setback to his injured foot. We're going to be talking about what this means for Patirick Williams and what this means for the Chicago Bulls. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. All right, and so we have some unfortunate news about Patirick Williams, as it is reported by Darnell Mayberry of The Athletic that Patirick Williams had a setback in recent workouts with the Chicago Bulls leading up to training camp that is set to take off here next week. And so we're going to be talking about what this means for Patirick Williams. And so let us start off with where I left off a couple days ago. In fact, when I was talking about key players' injury returns ahead of the 24-25 NBA season, that was on ESPN.com. And they listed for the Chicago Bulls two players, and they talked about Lonzo Ball, and they also talked about Zach LaVine, and they said that these were two players that were going to be key for the Chicago Bulls as they return back from injury. And I said that Patirick Williams is the only player that should be listed on this list because I thought that he was actually the most important for the Chicago Bulls for their future. Because I've said this before, and I'll say it again, with Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball, they're probably not going to be a part of the future of this team as they continue to get younger. And I think that when you go out and you sign Patirick Williams to a 5-year, $90 million deal, you do not let him go into free agency at all or even take any offers. That really shows me that you think that Patirick Williams might be the best or one of the best pieces of your young team moving forward. And so with me, I really questioned it because I said, look, why is it that we see Lonzo Ball and he's playing pickup games? We saw Zach LaVine and we see him playing pickup games. And with Lonzo Ball, we also seen him going out there showing videos where he's throwing it off the glass, he's dunking, he was doing one-on-one stuff, he was doing training work where you see him pivoting and running and things like that. But you never ever saw anything going on with Patirick Williams, and there had not been an update. The only thing that we had heard was that he had said, I think prior to Summer League or either at Summer League, that he felt like he was going to be ready and on schedule for training camp. Well, now we're finding out this is not the case. And in fact, this is what this article can be found under, or at least one of them, and that is him getting this major setback. But this is what Darnell Mayberry had to say. And essentially, he's talking about the fact that Patirick Williams has not played a lot of 5-on-5, number one. He said that number two, there is a concern with what is going on with Patirick Williams in the short term and also to the long term. And let's be clear, he did say it was a minor setback, but even if it's a minor setback, I'm still worried about this because this in fact happened about a month ago. So what we're seeing now today happened about a month ago, and it seems like the Chicago Bulls are not putting it out there. And I think that this might be, hopefully, I'm hoping it's not, but I think it might be worse than what is reported, because I had said this also before in this network that I thought that there is a sense that Patirick Williams and his injury, it is far worse than it was initially reported. And now we're starting to see this, and this is not a good sign. And so shout out to Bulls Central, who talked about this, and he talked about the fact on his program or podcast that, look, as Chicago Bulls fans, we don't want to jump to conclusion because obviously we've seen this before with younger players. And then the fact that we have gone out and we have invested into Patirick Williams, we don't want to go out there and just jump to a conclusion. But I've said this before. I think that the Chicago Bulls and the franchise have really jumped out there and they have really just gone on the sense of belief. And that's one of the things that Darnell Mayberry says too, is that they are really acting on the sense of belief when they go out there and they sign Patirick Williams Williams to this deal and bring him back and just indicate to him that he is going to be a key piece to their future. And I'm like, look, Isaac Okoro, he just signed a 3-year, $30 million contract, which is far lesser than what Patirick Williams has signed. And I'd said this before too, even though their production was similar, I just think the fact that Isaac Okoro is available, it shows me that his career and as far as the trajectory of it, it might have a better outlook if Patirick Williams does not turn the page here. And so very concerned about this, especially, again, you're seeing the quote where Patirick Williams was just saying that, hey, he was going to be ready. Clearly, he's not going to be ready. And it's very concerning. And you look at the contracts, all right? I talked about this before as well. When you look at the top 10 free agent contracts that were signed, look at this. Nick Claxton, 4 years, $97 million. You have Isaiah Hartenstein at the 3 years, $87 million. And then Malik Monk at 4 years, $78 million. And then also, too, I think Obi Toppin signed for $56 million. And so now when we look at this, and I know it hasn't started the season. We don't know if he's going to be available in the next week or so or how much he's going to be available to start off. But clearly right now it's looking like the Chicago Bulls maybe should have perhaps went another way with their investment. And I hate to say that. And I know it's very early, and I try to be optimistic as a Chicago Bulls fan, but I just think that if you have a player that has already been injured 2 of his 4 seasons, and there hasn't been a whole bunch of progress as far as his career is concerned, I think that you have got to start to explore different options. And I think that this really is going to put a little bit of a setback on this whole notion that he could have a breakout season, in my opinion, because look, it looks like he's going to get off to a slow start. It looks like he might, in fact, come in on a minutes restriction. And I've already said this before, and a lot of people have kind of pushed back. I said that Matas Buzelis, I know he's smaller, as far as not as big just yet, and being able to be as physical, I think on the offense and the defensive end, that's fair. But I think his motor and his ability to go out there and really make up for a lot of things that he doesn't have in skill is just more so will. And I think he's going to get better as he gets playing time. I have to believe that as Matas Buzelis gets a chance to play, and I've said this, I don't think that Matas Buzelis is going to look back once he gets into the starting lineup, in my personal opinion. I think he will take off. And if you look also too at some of the reporting that was done by Darnell Mayberry, he talks about the fact that Matas Buzelis is doing well in training camp or in their mini camp thus far. They're finding out that he's getting to the rim. He's also a much better passer than what some people anticipated as well. And look, getting to the rim is a great sign because it means that you're going to eventually be able to get better as a jump shooter. But if you're able to get to the rim and you're able to finish in contact, 1, you're going to be going to the free throw line. 2, you're going to be making it a lot easier for you to make shots. And as you start to get better as a jump shooter, then you really start to unlock your game even more. And I love that about Matas Buzelis. And I just don't think that this is a great sign for Patirick Williams off top here. And so as we continue on, I think that when you look at the full graphic of this thing, it's important to note that, look, Patirick Williams is a great 3-point shooter. You're seeing that, he shoots 42% on corner threes. You're seeing 0.96 of his threes are assisted. And also, 0.12 of all shots are threes. So it is clear that that is one of the things that Patirick Williams does well. But the issue here is also that Patirick Williams is now supposed to be one of our better defenders on the club. We don't have Alex Caruso. Now it looks like we may not have his services. We don't have a clear update as of yet. And when you look at his stats for the 4 years, you're seeing, again, those 2 of the 4 seasons have been injury prone for Patirick Williams, and there has not been a lot of progress. And so that just leads me to the fact of, look, it has been 8 months since he has done this thing, and it is like we need to see something other than what we're seeing right now. This is very, I think, concerning as a Chicago Bulls fan, because we need to see Patirick Williams out here at some point making some progress, because we have not seen a bunch of progress It has been very silent around him. There's been no video work. There's been nothing. And now we're seeing that not only has it been a setback, but it's been over a month that this setback has happened. And so since then, we don't know if he's had to go see another specialist. We don't know if that rest was enough for him. We have no idea. Only thing that he was saying was that he felt like he was getting his legs under him. And so to me, it sounds like the Chicago Bulls have really downplayed an injury that is far worse than what it was reported. And I think once again, we are going around that patented merry-go-round again with the Chicago Bulls. And so let me know in the comments what you think. Are you concerned with the fact that Patirick Williams has now had a setback? Do you think, well, you know what, it's going to be this way with Patirick Williams for the rest of his career? Or do you feel like, look, it's just a minor setback. He is going to take off from here. Let me know in the comments. I want to thank everybody for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and letting you know that 65.3% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed. So make sure that you go ahead and you mash that subscribe button, as it means a lot to us here as we try to reach 5,000 subscribers. And even though I said it before a couple times on this very program that I was concerned about Patirick Williams, and then here we are, I'm still saying go Bulls. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.